Hello friends, welcome to Coding Host YouTube channel. In this video, I will explain you a program longest palindromic substring. So in the last video, I have shown you a program how to find all the substrings of a string. So you can see that this is the program for finding all the substrings of a string. So for string ABCB, we have this substring, and from all these substrings, we have this four substring which are palindromic substring, and the longest substring in this string is BCB. This is the longest palindromic substring. So we have to find the longest palindromic substring for a string. So for that program, we have to use this logic for finding all the substrings of a string, and after that we have to use a method for checking the palindromic string, public static boolean palindrome. So in this palindrome method, I will pass all the substring one by one, and then we will check that if that substring is a palindrome or not. So in this method, I will use two pointer approach. I will use two variables, int l equal to 0 and r equal to s dot length minus 1. Then I will take a while loop while l is less than r. So if s dot char at l is not equal to s dot char at r, so then we have to return false, and left variable will increment and r will decrement. Outside of this while loop we have to return true. So you can see that in the program for finding the all substring, we are printing every substring, but for finding the longest palindromic substring, what I will do is we have to pass every substring in this palindrome method. So first I will take a string longest equal to empty. So in this longest string we will store the longest palindromic substring. So here, instead of printing this z substring, I will take a if statement. If palindrome of z equal to true, and after that, so you can see that this if statement will check that if the substring we have passed in this method is a palindrome or not. So if this condition is right, then in this if statement we will check that if z dot length is larger than longest dot length, so then in the longest substring we will store this z string, and after that we also have to make this z string empty. Outside of this nested for loops, in the last we will print our longest string variable. Now let's run this program. So you can see that in the output we are getting BCB, which is the longest palindromic substring for this string ABCB. Now let's see how this program is working. So you can see that we have a string s equal to ABCB, then we have a string z to find all the substring of this string, and then we have this longest string to store the longest palindromic substring. So in my previous video of finding all the substring of a string, I already have explained how this nested for loops are working. So in this video I will not explain the working of this for loops again. I will only explain the working of this palindrome method and how we are finding the longest palindromic substring. So you can see that when this for loops will start, so first substring it will find, it will be a. So in the z string, first substring will be a, then we will send this string in this palindrome method. So you can see that a is only a single character, so that's why it is a palindrome. That's why this method will return true, and because of that this if statement will get true, and in the if statement it will check that z dot length is larger than longest dot length. Yes, because length of this z string is 1 and length of this longest string is 0, because right now it is empty. So that's why in the longest string then we will store this z string. So now in the longest string we will get this a substring. After that next substring it will find AB, so then when it will send AB in this palindrome method, so you can see that L is starting from index 0 and R will start from index 1, because length of this AB string is 2, so L will start from 0 and R will start from s dot length minus 1. So 2 minus 1 will become 1, so L is 0 and R is 1. So in this while loop, it will check that L is less than R, yes, 0 is less than 1. Then it will check that if this character at this indexes are equal or not. So you can see that at index L, which is 0, we have A, and at index R, which is 1, we have character B. So A is not equal to B, so it's mean that this is not a palindrome. So it will return false here. It's mean that this is substring is not a palindrome. So then this if condition will not execute. After that, next it will find ABC. So you can see that ABC substring is also not a palindrome. So then this if condition will not execute. Then it will find ABCB. So it is also not a palindrome. So then this if condition will not execute. So then it will find substring B. So you can see that single character strings are always palindrome. So B substring is also a palindrome, yes. So then it will check that if z dot length is larger than longest dot length, no, because longest dot length is also 1, and z string, which is now B, its length is also 1. So length of this z string is not larger than this longest string. So that's why this inside if condition will not execute, and in the long string A will remain. After that, next substring, it will find BC. So you can see that this BC substring is also not a palindrome. So that's why this if condition will not execute. Then it will check the next substring, which is PCB. So you can see that this substring is a palindrome, yes. Here it will become right that this is substring is a palindrome, yes. Then in this inside if statement, we will check that z dot length is larger than longest dot length, yes, longest dot length is 1, and length of this PCB string is 3, and it is larger than 1. So this if condition is right, then in the longest string we will store this PCB. After that, next it will find C. So C is also a palindrome, but you can see that length of this C is not larger than this PCB substring, so it will remain as it is. Next we have CB. So CB is not a palindrome, so this if condition will remain false. Then we have last substring B. So B is a palindrome, but length of this B substring is not larger than this BCB substring. So that's why in the long string this BCB string will remain as it is. After that, this for loop will break, and in the last we will print our longest substring, and in the output we will get BCB. So you can see that time complexity of this program will be big of n cube, because here we are using 3 nested for loops, and the time complexity of this program will be big of 1, because here we are using this 2 extra string variables and this 2 extra pointer variables. So thanks for watching.